Hello, my name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz Video Recap. Today is Friday, November 11th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable over the past week at seroundtable.com. First up, Google late Friday announced that they're launching as an experiment, but it will be going live eventually, their mobile first index. Let me quickly as I possibly can, go through this. Of course, as you know, Gary from Google was talking about it for the past year and a half, and a Google blog post this past Friday announced that it's actually coming. The mobile first index means that Google's going to do crawling and indexing everything they used to do the same exact way. The only difference is they're going to do it from a mobile perspective, meaning they're going to look at your mobile website if there is a mobile version of your website. If not, they'll usually use desktop version, but if you have mobile and desktop, Google will crawl and index your web looking at it from a mobile view. So that means that's the only real difference. There's no ranking boost change, there's no anything else except for that. Google says they will not maintain two different indexes. They'll retain one primary index, which will be a mobile first index, obviously with desktop pages when there is no mobile version. Google also said, go through all this stuff, that it will be launching hopefully in the next few months, but they currently launched it, and it's launched to a subset of users, and they'll increase that, ramp that up over time as they become more confident with it. But Gary said we're still months away at least. Will this cause impacts for webmasters? Google's hoping not. Google's hoping that there's no change in the rankings. It's just a difference in the way they crawl the web, and they're hoping that nobody went to text any changes, and there's not major ranking changes with that update, but they're still testing, and it's very early to say. Often a lot of people have less content on their mobile version or less links on their mobile version than the desktop version. So Gary said they're still looking into it, but make sure you have the same content level that you have on your desktop version that you have on your mobile version and vice versa, and that really works well with hidden content. And of course, we just actually, I'll go into this a little more later, but hidden content on mobile is more common, like expandable tabs and so forth. So Google said they will look at hidden content and give that full weight. Not really hidden content, but like content within tabs and expandable menus, and give that full weight as opposed to what they currently do, which they say they don't give it full weight. It's going to be a global rollout. Again, links are missing, so they're still looking into that. And it's too early for Google to publish an FAQ on it. All the page speed factors and ranking signals that Google currently gets from desktop and applies to the mobile search and to the desktop search, that's going to be now flipped on its head, and it'll look like if you have a fast mobile website and a slow desktop website, your rankings will be based on the mobile website speed and factors. The mobile ranking factors, the ranking boost, the mobile-friendly ranking boost will remain the same. There's no change in that. And Google listed their official recommendations, which you could get on our site. I have a huge blog post with links to other huge blog posts with SEOs writing about this. So definitely take a look at that. If you haven't heard anything about it and you haven't read it, definitely take a look at that. I posted on it Monday, November 7th. Talking about that, Gary from Google basically said that although their policy has been that Google does not give full weight to content within expandable menus or accordions or stuff like that, now with the mobile first index, Google's going to go ahead and say, yeah, it's okay. For user experience purposes, you're often going to go ahead and have expandable menus and expandable accordions and so forth to not overwhelm the user. And because of that, we will give 100% full weight to content hidden in for UX, user experience purposes. So that's a change with that. Google announced this week that for safe browsing purposes, they are going to go ahead and have a repeat offenders kind of status for manual actions, specifically around safe browsing. So if you're injecting malware or harmful things on your users and you repeatedly do this, Google's going to go ahead and give you a repeat offender status. And what that means is that you will not be able to submit a reconsideration request within the Google Search Console for 30 days. You're going to be in this limbo where you can't do anything with your website in terms of removing that warning when people go to your website that this is a not safe site for 30 days. Again, this is going to happen to repeat offenders, not necessarily to hack sites, but to repeat offenders. Google Search Console is now undergoing a major infrastructure update, and because of that, there might be reports that are delayed or off or whatever. Google said this is not going to impact necessarily the search analytics report, They didn't say for sure it won't, but they said it should not be affected. And this will be going on for the next few weeks. It started sometime in early November, November 1st maybe, and it's going to go on forever and ever. And I noticed some reports with the link data report being off and so forth. And this is ongoing. I'll let you know when Google updates and updates their infrastructure for the Google Search Console. But I'm suspecting, I'm hoping this is a sign that Google's going to release more data, maybe a year's worth of data, which they promised us years and years ago in the Search Console. I'm not exactly sure, but we will see. And for all those 10, 15, 20 people who are watching live, thank you. All those watching later, also thank you. Appreciate it. And talking about the Search Console, there was an index status report update, which wasn't an update, which was an update. So basically what happened was I saw that they had this update line added on November 6th. Then I clicked onto the data anomalies page, which has all these updates documented, and it said nothing. So I asked John Mueller. John Mueller said, oh, it was a bug. They've removed the update line. Then what I saw is they actually added a note 2 days later about November 6th saying there's internal index updates. These changes should have minimal effects on end users, but they removed the line. The line was gone. So it's really weird, but in any event, there was some type of index status report update. If you notice anything, that would be interesting. Sorry about that. On the Google Search Console, the crawl status report specifically for apps. So if you have an app that uses app indexing and you include your app in the Google Search Console, what happens is the Google crawl status report over here, which you can see over here, well, typically would be updated daily with a 2 or 3 day delay. Now Google said they are going to update it in batches. So every 3-4 days, they're going to go ahead and push out 3 to 4 days of data and not update that data daily. They're going to update it every 3-4 days, which is, again, the trend that Google's going with apps, which is unfortunate because Google pushed apps big time back in the day. Google has confirmed they removed the knowledge graph snippet overlay. So that's what this looks like. Let me zoom in so you can actually see that. Sorry about that. So you can see over here, you used to be able to click on this in the snippets, and up came a snippet of our knowledge graph information. Google actually removed that feature this week, or a week ago, and they said they removed it because people weren't using it. So that's gone. There also was a bug with the Google site links. So the site links are the things that show up under the search result snippets. So here's an example of a zoom in time again. Hold on. So here's an example of site links, these little links below. Sometimes the site links look like this. These didn't have a problem. It was the small ones that had a problem where it didn't have these links anymore. You can see it's gone. And that was a bug. Google reported it. Google supposedly is fixing it, or they fixed it. I didn't check yet. But basically, all those small site links actually were dropped out of the Google index, and Google said they are fixing it. Gary from Google basically said that when Google spoke about how they needed links for ranking purposes, removing links from their ranking algorithm would completely kill search quality. He was talking about external links, and that's pretty obvious to most of you guys. External links are obviously links from outside the website, from third-party websites linking to you. Internal links are the way you link internally to your own website from your website. And Google needs those external links to kind of, and what he said, and I'll quote it, those links translate into some sense to popularity and endorsements by others, and internal links obviously do not translate to popularity and endorsement by others. They translate to how you're linking to yourself. SEO, Google actually published for the first time official recommendations for how to make your progressive web apps, PWAs, search engine friendly. It's actually a very detailed blog post by Google, so I definitely recommend it if you are interested or if you have deployed any PWAs. Google said that domain name length registration is not a SEO ranking factor, focus on other things. Google said they do not promote or demote sites based on the ccTLD or the top level domain name. So if you are .lawyer, you're not going to rank better for law terms. And if you use an XYZ or .ir domain, you're not going to go be demoted just because you use those domain names. Again, more about TLDs. Google said they ignore the HTML language tag attribute, HTML lang attribute. They look at specifically href lang, not HTML attribute, because people always mess up with that, they said. Although I think Bing uses it. Google is testing a new AMP carousel design, which is about done now. Let me show it to you quickly. So you can see here, there's a little look. So you see, instead of it being the image and title, it's actually showing a image, logo for the company, the title when it was published, and the image on the right-hand side. So that's a new look. Just about done. People also ask feature. This is a pretty cool feature, but Google's actually testing a new look for that as well, or a new feature for that. So if you actually look, what we have here is that when you see the people also ask and you scroll past it, it would actually start loading more, and then it would show like an infinite number of questions, which is pretty cool. So we posted that this morning. And finally, Google is killing off Google Map Maker, the standalone Map Maker program, the app and the website, and integrating it directly into Google Maps. There are a lot of features that are going to be missing with that, like history and so forth. But maybe this is going to help the map spam. Maybe it's not. I'm not exactly sure. But Google Map Maker is officially gone, and now it's integrated into Google Maps. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Boss video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. Today is Friday, November 11th, Veterans Day. To all those veterans, thank you for all your service and everything you've done. And that's the news we covered over at the Search Roundtable over the past week. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.